Hey, so how are you, Fiona?
I'm all right. I'm delighted that the sun is shining today because it's been grim, so grey, and that was
So
really pulling,
rainy.
yeah, it was really pulling my mood down. So yeah, I'm really when I get these bright winter days, I feel so much more alive. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I got out early this morning, walked and went to yoga, and it was just fabulous. It's just beautiful, isn't it? I'm still all these leaves. I live in a street with loads of big tall trees, and there's just still lots of leaves around.
Yeah,
Amazing. Yeah.
those are great.
Yeah. So we were going to talk about immunity and just some of our favorite supplements that we would have on hand in immunity, and a bit about homeopathy because we're both homeopaths.
Yeah, so we can have some favorites. I've got some kind of kitchen cupboard things and some more complicated stuff as well.
Love it. Yeah, it's really important to have kitchen cupboard stuff. You just reminded me of something that I'll share a bit later. So, do you want to fire away with your first kind of must have?
Yeah, okay. So mine is actually I'm cooking some of this at the moment. But it smells gorgeous. So these are dried elderberries. So I think most of us might have heard of the product Sambucus or Sambucol, which is a
Mm-hmm.
really dark purple elderberry tincture that you can buy in health food shops. But there is actually another way, which is you can buy dried berries, which are really affordable, and you can get loads of them and make an elderberry tea out of them. And I'll come on to how to do that in a minute. But why we want elderberry is that elderberry is proven to shorten the duration of flus. So that there's actually a study which shows that knocks 4 days off your flu, which is well worth having, I would say. But also just if you take it, you can take it protectively. So you can take it throughout winter. It's if you get the tincture as well or the syrup, it's actually tastes kind of delicious and kids love it. So it's a real like all the family can do it every day. And it's like, something that it's an English plant, it's something native to us. It's packed full of vitamin C. And then it's got these very sort of specific compounds within it that they're antiviral, they work against colds, they inhibit the virus. So that's how they make cut down the length of time on flu. So to make it, if you're interested in making tea, what all you do, take your berries, put them in a pan. I put in like 2 teaspoons for a good couple of cups. Put them in a pan with a couple of mugfuls of water and simmer them for 15 minutes and strain. And then you get quite a thick, delicious tasting tea, and you can add in some other like classic antivirals. You can add in some lemon, you can throw in a bit of cinnamon when you're cooking it, and what's it's called, you can stir in a bit of warm honey, because honey we don't want to heat up too much. Keep honey nice into sort of more lukewarm, warmish substances, and then you really get the healing properties from it. So yeah, it's elderberry is available to us, in all forms. It's free all summer. We can buy ready-made tincture if we don't have time to make the tea, or we can have just a tea in our cupboard ready to go. So
Perfect.
that's one.
I love it too. I do exactly the same as you. I once had a friend who'd given me, or a friend once gave me some fermented elderberries, which were delicious. I tried it myself, and they kind of wanted to explode out of the fridge. So, got to get that one right. But yeah, absolutely. I really like making it. I would not advise sambuco because it has some nasty additives in. Aspartame or some kind of fake sugar. There's much better brands, and Fiona and I are both health practitioners, homeopaths, and we use a company called the Natural Dispensary. And if you're interested in getting a discount code from the Natural Dispensary, just drop us a line, just message down below, hit that
Yeah.
like button, put in a comment, and we'll send you a discount code for the Natural Dispensary, because there's a couple of other brands on there that have elderberry syrup, elderberry tincture. And I have a very good friend who's a herbalist, and she says that studies show that elderberry actually defeats the spikes on the coronavirus, which is, I just find absolutely mind blowing. So, yeah,
Yeah.
amazing substance. So
It has
good.
it has a property where I'm just going to reading off a piece of paper here, but it neutralizes H1N1,
Yep.
RSV, which is
Yep.
respiratory virus and the common cold coronavirus. So
Yeah.
it's actually, if you put it into a little petri dish and drop those things in, it will like overcome them. So
It's
it's
just
something.
incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's just around
Yeah.
us all the time.
Yeah, exactly. So as we are both homeopaths, I was just going to wave around a homeopathic kit. This is one from Ainsworth's, and it's got 42 remedies in it. And I like these ones. Helios is another company. They'll post internationally as well. Helios's kit has 36 remedies in. They cost sort of roughly about the same amount, but you do get that 6 extra with the Ainsworths. And you've got a really great core group of homeopathic remedies. And you get a great booklet with it that tells you what symptoms you use, which remedies you use for which symptoms, and it tells you a bit about each of the remedies. So you get a feel for learning the remedies like you learn a character. And there are many of these that we would use in a common cold or flu, and there may be that we use a remedy at the onset of something. So if we feel like we're just coming down with, it's great to know if to know remedies that will help. My personal favorite is one called Ferrum Phos, which is in the kit. But other people, particularly if you feel like you're coming down with something after a cold day, you've caught the wind, the chill, is a remedy called aconite. So at this stage of something, we might take these once an hour for up to 6 hours. And then if the cold or flu or whatever it is sets in, we might switch remedies if we've got different symptoms, or we might just continue to take the remedy 3 times a day if we feel like we're pushing through. And in its early days of doing a bit of home prescribing like this, there are some great resources. So there's the homeopathic helpline, and some of our English pharmacies have pharmacy lines where you can just ring up and say, hey, I've got these symptoms, I've got this kit, what do I use? And it might be that later in the cold, you go on to a remedy like Nat Mure, which has a clear runny nose. It might burn, excoriate a little bit under the nose. And Nat Mure has actually been one of my favorite remedies for the last 5 years for the loss of sense of smell and taste. And what that actually indicates is that we are deficient in zinc, that we need more zinc. So there's a supplement I particularly like from, again, I order this from Natural Dispensary myself as well. It's a company called Nature Provides, and it is an ultra concentrated ionic zinc. I personally prefer ionic to nano. It's more naturally sourced, and just 10 drops of this a day would be a great preventative if you know that you're somebody who tends to get colds and flus on a regular basis. So this and your elderberry tincture could be something that you have through the season. Also really useful for somebody who gets hay fever easily. I would say in the hay fever season, we'd take that in the same way, 10 drops every day in a glass of water, because it tastes horrid on its own.
Yeah, it's awful.
um,
And just to say, with those kits as well, they come with really handy booklets so that you can
mm-hmm.
look up symptoms. You're not just left on your own with them. You can look up symptoms, and and also with homeopathy, it's really not a problem if you don't take the one that's right. You with the levels of remedies that are in those kits, they're designed so that you can try one, and if it doesn't work, move on to the next most likely one. But the booklets are fantastic. Yeah, and so you get everything you need in those emergency kits to get you through
Yeah,
winter.
they're great. And I've just got a client, a relatively new client, whose son's gone off to Colombia. I think he's in his late teens. And she said she sent him with a kit, and he's absolutely loving using it. And all his mates are kind of like, oh, can you give me a remedy for this? Can you give me a remedy for that? So they're designed to be easy to use, and they are fabulous for travel. Have you got another element that you want to throw into the mix?
Another immunity. I've got a more complicated homeopathic product. So this is one which is pre-mixed. So this is an immunity booster called Cytomix. So this one, it's made by a company in Italy called Guna Biotherapeutics, and they're a very forward-looking homeopathic company, and in that they're always working at kind of the cutting edge of science. And what they've put in this is they've sort of done all the research, and they carry out quite a lot of trials as well. They carry out really good trials and they publish their data. And this specifically is designed to support immune function and promote faster recovery. And the sort of things they've put in it, they've put in some sort of really great homeopathic plant extracts. So things like mountain cranberry, which is a decongestant. They've put in a gotu kola, which addresses cold symptoms, and a pineapple, which is all about reducing inflammation in the body. But then they've put in cytokines, which are actually immune signaling proteins. So the sort of things those are like interleukins, interferon gamma. So really, these are chemical pathway blockers, but in homeopathic form. And these are all designed to activate your immune system, activate those killer cells, and T cells, which you might have heard of. But basically, it works great. So if you're doing something like a flight in the middle of December, you know you're going to be on a plane with loads of people coughing all over you for 4 hours. And most of us, I think we often pick something up when we're on flights, when we're on long train rides, when we're squashed in with loads of people. And particularly if we're not, it's cold and our own immune systems aren't feeling that great. And that's a perfect time to take this. And you take it 3 times a day, so morning, afternoon, evening. And what I do is I just take it when I'm going to be surrounded by like a load of coughing, sneezing people. And it's great for that. It's not available from homeopathic pharmacies. It's available online. And you get 2 of the tubes in the pack. It is more expensive than homeopathic products. So a traditional tube this size from Helios Rainsworth would be what, like £7? Whereas this is more like £15 a tube. But if anyone is listening to this who is my client or on one of our courses, then get in touch with me and I have some of these in stock, so I can pass those on to you. But otherwise, you can find it online, and it's called Guna Cytomix. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's very cool.
great. And even actually, if you're listening and you're not a client of Fiona's, just put a comment down below, and I'll share that with her. Fantastic. I love it. We were earlier talking about vitamin C, which kind of everybody knows is really good for a cold. What I would encourage you to do, if you're looking for vitamin C to boost your immunity, it's a very powerful antioxidant, and we need antioxidants to defeat what we call free radicals, pathogens as well. So there's a brand again on the natural dispensary, which we both like, called Natura C. And the reason we like that is because it's sourced from actual fruits and veg and plants that are rich in vitamin C, rather than many of the supplements on the market, which source their vitamin C from ascorbic acid, which is a byproduct of corn, which could even be genetically modified. So there's an awful lot of vitamin C on the market that I personally wouldn't touch with a barge pole. So read the label. Always with your supplements, can I get something which is close to nature, that my body knows how to metabolize, that doesn't have fillers in? So fillers are literally there to help the substance get into the capsule faster, which of course is a great boon for the manufacturing company, but isn't necessarily great for you. And we have things called binders that pull 2 elements together that don't usually arrive in nature together. So again, you'll be eating those binders and your body will be figuring out how to excrete them. And really what you want your body to be doing is dealing with the pathogen. And then I always like to talk about what's called bulking agents. So quite a lot you look at your supplement. And, Fiona and I both work with menopause. And the last thing you want to do at menopause is encourage something to make your metabolic process slow down and contribute to weight gain. So, I always just say a bulking agent. Guess what that's going to do?
Yeah. And they really, these additives as well really slow down the absorption. So it means that when you take this supplement, not only you sort of like half the capsule's full of something else, but the impact that a supplement has is massively reduced because it's packaged in with all this other rubbish, for a better word.
Exactly. And on the course, I just wanted to say, on the menopause course in the last week, we do a comparison between a very well-known proprietary multivitamin, and we look at its nutritional value is pretty low compared to some of these amazing plant source vitamins. So, you know, that old adage of you are what you eat, you know, if you eat a load of bulking and agents and fillers and binders, your body's going to struggle, you know, to process those, and you're not going to absorb the little amount of not very good quality nutrients in the product. So yeah, we definitely have to do our homework on these, and that's one of the things that we spend hours doing. You know, before each course, we do the course twice a year, the natural menopause course. Before each course, we spend quite a lot of time researching the products that we recommend. Are they still available? Are they still the same product, or have they been upgraded or downgraded? That sometimes happens. And are there any new products on the market which are worth knowing about? So it is a minefield, and it does require some study, definitely. You
Yeah.
had one other product. I was going to say as well. Yeah, go on, add
Yeah,
in.
no, mine's an easy one, which I'm sure again is something that everyone's heard of. But I think it's really good just to this stuff that we've all heard of on this at the back of our cupboards to get it out again. And my third one is a classic echinacea tincture. So this is an organic echinacea from Viridian. So it's really nicely sourced, and this is so easy to take. It's just a few drops in some water, and you can really dial up the quantity when you're not well. So you can use lots, particularly at the start of a cold and a flu, to divert it off, or you can just take a very small amount, drip feed it all through winter. And the thing about tinctures as well is if you pop them in some water and then hold it in your mouth, what happens is if you hold it in your mouth for about 30 seconds, the mucous membranes in your mouth absorb lots of the tincture and it gets it straight into the bloodstream without it having to go all the way through into the stomach. And so what you get with tinctures, if you hold them in the mouth, is that you get much better absorption and you get a much higher dose of that substance. So don't swallow it first, hold it in there 30 seconds. You don't need to swish it or anything, just hold it in the mouth. An echinacea, again, is something that shortens cold and flu durations. It's antibacterial, it's antiviral, and it's again working on boosting our immune system so that we're just much less prone to pick something up, or if we do get something, that we shorten it and we reduce severity of symptoms, because that's really the goal. I don't know if it's possible to get through winter without having a cold, and having a one-off cold is quite good for us. It stimulates the immune system, it gets everything, our system sort of fired up so that it can deal with more serious pathogens or viruses should they arrive. But having repeat illness is not good for us. So we really want to use these age-old tools, and often they can be very age-old products. Tinctures last for years as well. So if there is one in your cupboard, then yeah, it's probably still all right as well because it's got alcohol content.
Fantastic. Should we just share a bit about the course? We were going to talk about that too. Let me just pop up the screen. So we decided to do this little chat on useful things to have in the cupboard, because quite a few people on their current natural menopause course had asked us about immunity. And in fact, sometimes what happens when we look at menopause and we look at our timeline is we realize that we have the sensation of I'm coming down with something before our period, and that could indicate that certain organs in the body need a bit of support. So that's a little bit more specialized, but we decided, because we'd been asked on the current natural menopause course about a few immune things, let's just do a little chat on this, but let's also share about the course and what it is. And do you want to fire away, Fiona?
Yeah, so for anybody who doesn't know about the natural menopause course, Caroline and I have been running this for a couple of years. It is, and one of the reasons we want to talk about it now, even though our next course is starting in April, is that for the first time we have actually got it available now, so that if you sign up now, you can take advantage of an installment plan. So normally we're not quite so organized about talking about this in advance. So this time we are. So this is why we're saying, if you know anyone that could be interested, please forward this on to them, because the installment plan gives everyone the opportunity to spread costs from now all the way through winter and then all the way up until April, which I think is rather handy.
Yeah, I think it's very pertinent now. I think people are, with their budget coming up
Yeah.
in terms of government and all those kind of things, and even Christmas looming. So yeah, absolutely. And it's a combination of, we both bring a lot of skills and knowledge around nutrition, homeopathy, lifestyle, because while we're both trained as homeopaths, we recognized very early on in our careers that people also need to add in some dietary tweaks, some lifestyle, pretty much across our general practices, but very much so when it comes to menopause.
Yeah, so we've pulled together what we know are the most effective protocols, what are the most effective remedies, and what is the most effective lifestyle advice. And that's from us both working with hundreds, if not probably thousands, if we added it together, of women in menopause. So the course has got 6 live group coaching webinars. So we all come together once a week and have a live session where we answer questions, where we deep dive into specific topics. And also there's lots of opportunities for everyone to get together and share their own experiences, because we're really creating a community on the course of like-minded women. And often it can feel a little bit lonely if you do want to explore natural menopause, just because of the environment we live in, where people aren't really talking about natural solutions. So we've got the live webinars, which are great every week. And then there's webinars that you watch in your own time, which are full of information and ideas. And they're really something you can take your time over, take notes. And then we give you a workbook after every week. So there's a workbook to keep you on track with everything that we've discussed written down in there, and lots of recipes and discount links and, deeper information. So there's a comprehensive package in the materials that we offer you. And then in terms of actually what the course involves, we have homeopathic remedies, which are included in the price of the course. And those are mailed out to you. So you're ready to go at the beginning of the course. And then the remedies flow as we move through the course. They follow a certain pattern. They follow a pattern that the body follows. And as we work through the course, we change up remedies, and people's symptoms start to shift and move. And we also have a recommended range of supplements, which we provide a discount code for. And those are the ones that Caroline was talking about. We do a lot of work in working out which nutritional supplements are really important at menopause in plugging nutritional gaps. And then we have a WhatsApp group with Caroline, and I are on there every day. And that really is a very supportive space, a very safe space for everyone in the community, and a way for you to access us on the spot, on the day, and discuss anything that's coming up for you. Yeah, so I think those are all what else would you add about the course, Caroline? Anything that
I just wanted to add, actually, with the WhatsApp group, we actually keep that open for 4.5 months after the course. So you've got access to all of the webinars, the pre-recorded 4 webinars. We record the live group sessions. So you've got access to all of those 10 videos, webinars, and the WhatsApp group for 4.5 months beyond the course. And really what comes out of that is you being able to make your own plan for menopause, your menopause roadmap, if you like, and to have the support along the way to tweak that. So sometimes in that 6 months, a lot of things will have shifted, but something new might come up, and still the support is there. And something that's really amazed both Fiona and I is the very first course we did, a third of the course attendees were practitioners going through their own menopause and wanting to support both themselves and their clients. We also had a lot of women from overseas, which we couldn't have predicted. So we've had, women from North America, from Canada, from New Zealand, from the Middle East. So that was, a real lovely surprise. And we are starting to get women who are pre-menopause. So we're starting to get women who are saying, what's ahead? What can I do to prepare now? And that is absolute joy. We're also getting women who have had surgical menopause. So they've had a hysterectomy, partial or full hysterectomy for some reason, women who are cancer survivors, women who've had what we call a chemical menopause, who are taking medication that suppress their symptoms. So, it's often that I find that people do not realize that it's not an either or situation, that natural health choices can be used alongside whatever other health protocols you are on, you are thinking about. So we've had women with HRT who've wanted to come off HRT, women who've had to come off HRT, women who can't take HRT, and women who are on HRT but want to address the symptoms they still have, because it doesn't fix everything, with natural support. So, there's something that we feel we're meeting, and we do get incredible feedback, actually, which is wonderful. Why we're still here every day, I'm reminded, there is still work to be done, in this space.
Yeah, and it is what we see, even in the very short period of 6 weeks, is that symptoms are starting to move. So anxiety lessens, sleep improves. Those are often the first couple of things that we see improve. Hot flashes start to reduce. And then once you leave the course and you continue with the protocols, continue to follow the suggestions that we've provided around about, nutrition and eating and your supplements, those benefits keep on going, so that I can bump into somebody a year after, which happened recently. I bumped into someone who did the course a year ago, and her weight loss, her energy, her sleep, her joie de vivre had all just carried on improving in the year following the course. So it's really something that stays with you and gives you a way to be when you're in your menopause journey and when you're through your menopause journey as well. It's really a sort of women's health. It's just a fantastic way to raise your health, this course.
Yeah, the other thing that I would add to that is we've had, I think it's 2 people now who've come back to do the course again because they wanted to learn more, or because their new symptoms had emerged as they'd moved through menopause. And that, I couldn't have predicted that. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
But it's a lovely space to be in. I think that's the main things is there's so much sharing and support, and I'm always stunned by that. I always learn something from the participants each time as well.
Absolutely. And we're always learning stuff in terms of uncovering new studies. I think there's 3 new studies that I've found really, really helpful that I've added into, the information that I've shared on the course this time around, and that's even since earlier on this year, when we did the course earlier this year. It's like, wow, this is a moving field. And if you're working with women in menopause, chances that you weren't really taught about menopause in the first place, but that it is something that you need to keep up to date with. So yeah, great.
Yeah. Great. Well, it would be lovely if we see any of you on the menopause course, and
Yeah, absolutely.
wish you well for a healthy, vibrant winter.
Yes.
Put some of those tips into place.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep asking the questions. And if you are watching in YouTube, please like and subscribe, because that really helps us get the message out there. And just drop, a message if you've got any questions down below. That would be great. Thank you.